Okay, let's dig into Vibrant by Indy Darling. This is an awesome song, and I'm really excited to walk you through it. I have sheet music for you, and I am not assuming that you will read it, and you don't need to read it, but you might find it helpful in a couple of different ways just to have around. One thing is that I've marked in a lot of like the finger um, the positions, the string numbers and the fret numbers on the music. And two, I think it's really helpful to kind of be able to follow along and just sort of see the sections of the song. So that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to listen to the song together, and I'm just going to kind of call out the sections, right, as we go through, so that we can kind of just be on the same page, so to speak, about where we're at. Feel free to skip ahead if this isn't useful to you, but I think it's great to do at least once, either with me or on your own. I'll just say, as far as counting goes, so in this song, we're counting to 4 for every measure of music, and it's going to be kind of at this speed, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time you start a new count of 4, you're going to move on to the next bar of music. So you'll see a little vertical line on the music, and when you get to the count of 4, that means you've moved on to that sort of next section. And you'll see there's generally 4 bars to every line, and on the score. And one of the exceptions is the very beginning. There's an intro which starts with 8 bars. That's what that number 8 means. And so as we start, we're going to listen to the intro, and we're going to count 8 bars. Okay, here we go. Forgive the audio quality. Here's the 8th bar, and verse 1 is here. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the chorus, marked bar 17. Here's verse 2. I love this note. We're heading into the chorus now. Listen to how this is different. And the chorus again. Here's the bridge. It sounds like maybe this is cello or bowed bass, so it's very delicate here. We can imitate that. chorus again. There's a little pause before. Now this little double dots means repeat. Back to the chorus. Now this time we skip the next two bars, let's say 1, and we go straight to the 2, bar 61. And here's a pause. And then to the outro, 4 bars. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. The bass line I wrote here is a little bit simplified from what you're hearing, but at the very end of the score, you'll also see the full bass line, so you can practice both. And this is just an open ad-lib to the ending. You just kind of jam out on this groove. You can make stuff up if you want, but it's all sort of the same. Kind of improvised jam feel. Okay, we did it. Awesome. Let's go ahead and dive into the bass parts. Okay, actually one more step before we dive into the bass parts themselves. I just want to sort of talk through what you might see on the page here if you're not used to reading sheet music, so that you can use it as a reference. I'm not, of course, expecting you to like know everything that's going on here or even to look at it while you're playing. But if you're confused about what's going on, or you maybe want to get a little context for why a particular part sounds the way it does, or what you should be listening to or looking for, I think it's good to have this music on hand. And so I'm just going to start from the assumption that you're brand new to this and just talk through a couple of basic things, right? So we touched on one of the basic things already, which is this idea that we're counting to 4, right? So we're on this speed, 1, 2, 3, 4 for this song. Let's talk a little bit more about rhythm. So you are going to see the sort of big black dots on the page, right? And those generally represent notes that we're playing. One of the things that we can, one of the ways that we can think about it is each of those dots is like, it's like real estate. It's like a subdivision of a plot of land, right? So if the whole piece is like a whole city, and each of these sort of bars are like maybe each line is maybe like a city block, right? And each bar is like it's like an acre, and then each of the acres has like 4 little plots of land inside of it, right? So the things that you see that kind of look like a simple dot with a line, kind of like a sailboat with no sail, that's going to be called a quarter note. So that's going to be 1/4 of the whole bar, right? And that's how much sort of real estate, that's how much land it takes up. Um, and then when you see uh, sailboats with the sail out, right? Like they've got the mast and then a couple of little, like one or two sort of curvy lines coming off of it. That is a shorter note, so those are going to be 8th or 16th notes. And so for right now, what we can basically look at is, as we're going through and listening and looking at the music, we can just think of these as long notes and short notes, right? So the quarter notes, the sailboat with no sail, are going to be generally longer, so they'll take up more real estate. And then the 8th and 16th notes, the sailboats with the sails out, those will be quicker notes, so really small pieces of land. Let's see, what else? Oh, and when you see just sort of little squiggles without the big black dot, those generally mean those are just a rest. So we just stop playing there and give a little space. So it's an undeveloped plot of land, we could say. What else? If you see, and then you'll also see underneath the note heads, you'll sometimes see dots or lines, and that's related to rhythm also, and that's something called articulation, right? And so that basically means you play the note. So a little dot under the note means you play it extra short, and then a line under the note means you play it full length, right? So we can think about this as if each of these is a piece of land. This is like the house that's on the piece of land, right? So the dot underneath the note means there's a little tiny house on this piece of land, on this quarter note. And then the line underneath the house means it's a big old house that's filling up the whole plot. And so as we actually, I can demonstrate that really easily. If we jump down to the chorus, bar 17, you'll see these 8th notes. There's 8 of them to every measure, and there's this pattern of dot, dash, dot, dash. You'll see underneath the notes, and that's going to sound like this. So you can hear every note is the same, has the same duration, right? So they all take up the same amount of space before you get to the next note, but the half of the notes are short and half of the notes are long in terms of articulation. So remember, little house, big house, same size plot of land. Okay, great. Let's now just talk about, let's talk about notes and pitch. So the really simple, you at least should know that we have the stripes that are going across the page. Each one of those stripes is called a staff or a system, and each set of 5 stripes is called the staff, right? And note heads that are lower on the staff are going to be lower in pitch, like down here, and note heads that are higher on the staff are going to be higher in pitch, like up here. So as you go, as you do something like this, with the notes going up, you would see those notes going up on the staff as well. One other little detail you might notice is that at some points you'll see the what we call the stems, the mast of a sailing ship. Sometimes they go down instead of up, and that doesn't make a difference. Down, up, it's all the same. It just it basically is to keep the ink of the notes closer to this, like more or less on the staff, right? So it's not kind of going way above or way below unless it has to. Okay, last thing, let's talk about strings and fingering. So if you look at verse 1, you'll see, look at the very first note, there's a 4 circled. That means 4th string. So that's going to be this lowest string, the one lowest in pitch. It's actually the highest, like closest to your face, but it's this low E string. So if you see a number circled like that says 4, that means you play 4, the lowest string. And then a little tiny number that's next to the note, 3, just means you play the 3rd fret. So that's going to be this fret right here. So this is, if it says 0, you play it open. If it says 1, you play it here. If it says 2, you play it here. If it says 3, you play it here. One little technique thing is I suggest in general, if you keep your fingers down to as much as possible when you're playing, and I'll show you what I mean by this. So I'll just show you a little exercise, right? It kind of builds on the what I was just showing you. So if we play open, and then we play fret 1, we play with our first finger, and then we keep this down and we put down our second finger. So now both fingers 1 and 2 are down, and then we keep both of those down, we put down our third finger, and then we have all of our fingers down to play the 4th fret, right? So we can practice this with a little exercise that looks like this. And if you do that a few times, it'll kind of help you get used to keeping your these first, second, third fingers down as much as you can, and having one finger per fret as your general rule. Okay, cool. So I think that gets you ready to kind of like know what's on the page. Again, you're not expected to read it, just so you have this as a reference in case you want to refer back to it as we're playing through some of the music. So let's get to the actual music now. Sorry it's taken so long. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with with verse 1. Okay, so with verse 1, as I mentioned in the last video, we can find this first note by looking at the string, the 4th string, this E string here. And I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to put this down so you can see me play as much as possible. So we're starting with this string, the E string, and we're starting on the 3rd fret right here, right? 3rd fret. So the rhythm of this first, the rhythm of the verse generally goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So just try this. We're just playing the rhythm on the first note, and we're repeating it. It's short, 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 long, short. And again, how do you know that those the notes are short? Well, they might have a dot underneath them, which means, again, tiny house on a big plot of land. Or they might be the sailboat with the sails out, which means it's just a smaller plot of land to begin with. And then only the very last note in the first bar is going to be long, because you see that long line underneath it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play now the first, most of the first 4 bars, so you can play along with me. And then when we get to the end of the 4th bar, there's a little surprise. So I'm gonna stop there, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, here we go. 1. So starting at verse 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that was a surprise, right? So that surprise is a syncopated note, and we can see just before the last note, there's a little kind of squiggly with kind of 3 lines connected to each other. That's what we call a 16th rest. So it's a short rest. So if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, when we get to count 4, there's a short rest. Instead of the note coming on count 4, there's a quick rest before we play it, right? So it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, da. 1, 2, 3, 4, da. 1, 2, 3, 4, da. So actually, before we go any further, I just realized we should have done this first. Let's go ahead and see if we can tap out the rhythm of this verse before we try and actually play it. Let's start with that 4th bar that we were just looking at, the one with the syncopation. It's this rhythm sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try it again. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Let's now do the rhythm from the beginning, and let's see if we can get all the way through the verse. So go ahead and do this with me. Tap this out with me. It's really great to just practice the rhythm on its own. So here we go. From the beginning of verse 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. How did that feel? Were there any surprises? Did the syncopation at the end of bar 4 catch you by surprise? Rewind, go back and do that again. Repetition, of course, is key to learning any song. So be very patient with yourself. Feel free to repeat this, each part of this process many, many times until it feels comfortable. And you don't need to do it all in one sitting. Do it for 5 minutes and then come back again tomorrow if you feel up to it. Okay, so awesome. We just did the rhythm of verse 1. Let's go ahead and play all the way through it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. You'll see there's a little line between the low note and the high note in the middle of that last bar. There's like a diagonal line, and that basically means there's like a kind of like a swoop. And I'll show you what that looks like, or what that can look like. It can look something like this. Oh, sorry. Or it can look. There we go. Sorry, I'm kind of balanced awkwardly to show you my fingers. Or it can look like this. I'm just kind of starting my finger from the top of the string on the second string and swooping up with it being held down. You don't have to do this. It's also just fine to do it like this. But I wanted to make sure to show you what the player is doing, so that if it sounds different to you, you know why, and you can practice that if you want to. Okay, awesome work. Let's go into the chorus. So we already covered this a little bit as far as rhythm, the long, short, right? So all of these plots of land are the same size. They're all what we call eighth notes. And the houses on each eighth note are just alternating. small house, big house, small house, big house. So let's go ahead and play through this chorus. All right, so actually, just for fun, I think this is kind of a fun way to practice a new section, is you start at the end of the previous section. So let's start at the, let's go 2 bars back. Let's go to the bar 15, where it says there's a, it says 4th string, 4 circled, and then 4th fret, the little tiny 4 next to it. So that's looking at bar 15, and 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the chorus. Fourth fret, 3rd fret, and back to verse. So that's the start of verse 2. Okay, cool. Let's see. Anything that jumps out to me right now? I don't think so. Keep those 8th notes in the chorus. Keep those notes in the chorus nice and steady. So just do your best. Don't speed up. Don't slow down. Even though you're doing long, short, it should be feel very even. Like we're just kind of chugging away underneath the music, right? We have a supporting role here. Cool. Verse 2 starts a little different. The rhythm starts a little bit different from verse 1. So let's go ahead and practice just the rhythm. There is one more surprise at the end of verse 2, which are these, like you'll see a bunch of little black notes together with 3s underneath them. And I'll just go ahead and tap through the rhythm with you, and including tapping through that part, and then I'll explain what's going on there and give you an alternative if that feels really hard to do. Okay, so verse 2, we're going to tap through the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's their syncopation. Long, short, long, short, long, short, long. Woo! That's kind of fun, right? We get to really tap it out there. So it's we got six short notes in a row, and then another 6 on one note, and then another 6 on another note. So those are what we call 16th note triplets. And so it's if we're tapping through it, it might be easier with 2 hands. Starting at the beginning of that bar, it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty fun, huh? Cool. So if that's hard, we can actually just make those into long notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine too. That's a good starting place. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long, long, right? And then we can try the faster version. You can work up yourself way up to the faster version when you're ready. Cool. Let's go back to the beginning of verse 2, and let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and play through it. This first measure, as I mentioned, is a little more open than the beginning of verse 1. There's like a few missing notes in the middle. So just kind of let that space breathe, and remember that in the actual music, when we're playing the song, it's kind of a nice point, right, where we're coming out of the chorus, and there's a big weight that kind of comes lifting off, right? So that's all of a sudden you're like out in empty space and so almost floating. And so just kind of enjoy that, especially when you're playing along with the song. Okay, so just like before, let's go ahead and start 2 bars before verse 2 and kind of play into verse 2. So we're going to be starting in bar 23. We're on the 4th fret of the A string, the 3rd string. So it's this string right here, right? And that note should sound like this. Okay, starting there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's verse 2. Back to the chorus. And here's the bridge. Bridge is where we'd start here. So I'm gonna pause just a second before moving on to the bridge. Awesome job so far. This has been a lot. I want to give you, just play for you once what it would sound like to simplify the end of verse 2 into the chorus. Those, or the 16th note triplets are. Let's just listen to how it would sound if we leave out those 16th note triplets and just play it slow. So I'm gonna let's start from measure 29, the 5th bar of verse 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the chorus. And so forth. Okay, awesome. Let's take a quick break and let's hop into the bridge. Okay, actually, before we play the bridge, I just want to give you a quick playthrough of the whole song up till now. We'll skip the intro, but starting at verse 1, so that you can have a chance to play along with me if you want, playing this verse 1 chorus, verse 2 chorus all together. Also, I just realized my E string was really flat, so sorry about that before. Should be closer now. If you want to tune to me, not perfect, but close enough. And yeah, let's go ahead and start from the beginning of verse 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the chorus. Open space. I'm going to play the simplified version here. Here's the bridge. Awesome. Great work. Let's pause and go on to the bridge. The bridge, and as I mentioned, I think at the beginning, in our listen through, this is a very sort of delicate section, so we can play a lot quieter here. And the first 4 bars are especially quiet. You can see I've written mute on there, and I'll show you a technique that we can use to do that if you want. But the basic thing, at least, that we want to do is play each note, play most of the notes short. The notes with the dots over them are going to be short. And then, of course, the ones with the lines under them are going to have, they're actually shorter notes, but they have big houses, smaller plots of land, but they have big houses on them, right? So what does that sound like? That sounds like this, the beginning of the bridge. So that's, we still have an alternating kind of short, long, short, but it feels a little bit different because of the exact rhythm. So let's practice that rhythm just tapping once. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da-dum, 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 dum, dum, da-dum, 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 dum. Just for fun, I'll show you a way that we can kind of get a little bit more of a muted, delicate sound, right? So we can put our rest the sort of heel of our hand close to the bridge of the bass, and then instead of plucking with the fingers, we can kind of pluck with the thumb, and the string kind of buzzes against the heel of our hand, and the heel of our hand makes it sort of quieter and shorter. So what that would sound like here is this: 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually think this sounds really cool, especially on this kind of bass. But don't worry about it if that's hard for now. And then what I would probably do here, what you could choose to do here, where I've written sustain, in the 5th bar of the bridge, is then switch back to just regular plucking, right? So here now, instead of the short, long, short pattern, we have all of the notes are full length. So big houses on every plot of land. And let's go ahead and tap through this. It's actually the same rhythm, so we don't have to tap through the rhythm again. Let's just go ahead and play through the notes. And it starts out with the same notes as in the beginning of the bridge. But watch out when we get to the 4th bar. We have a little bit of a surprise. There's a chord change that's maybe unexpected. So check out those notes in the 4th bar: open D, and then this 2nd fret F sharp, and then 3rd fret G, right? So let's go ahead and start in bar 5 of the bridge, and we'll play through the next 8 bars, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're back to the chorus right there. Cool. So let's play through that whole bridge again, from the beginning of the bridge to and I'm gonna go ahead and keep going straight through into the chorus after the bridge here. A quick note on this next chorus. So why don't we look at that really quick? It's exactly the same as the choruses we've already played, but there's a repeat in it. So if you look at bars 7 and 8 of this chorus, you'll see there's it's called a first ending. There's a 1 with kind of a sort of rectangular line over it. That means, and then there's a repeat after that. So there's kind of an extra thick bar line with 2 little dots. So that means we're going to repeat back to the beginning of the chorus, bar 53, and then we're going to play that same chorus again. And this time, when we play it the second time, we skip the notes that are under the sort of 1 line, and we go straight to 61, and we play the notes that are under the 2 line. And then there's a little break, and we go into the outro. So I'll go ahead and call it out as we go. So again, I'm going to start from the bridge, from bar 41, play the whole bridge and into the chorus, which we've played the chorus notes enough now that you should be, that they should feel a little bit more familiar. And so we'll play bridge into the chorus, and then we'll repeat the chorus into the second ending, and then there's a little pause, which is that little arc over the bar line with the dot underneath it. That's a fermata, so it just means a short pause, and then we will pause and we'll talk about the outro. Okay, here we go. Bridge, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the chorus. Here's the first ending. Go back to bar 53, the chorus. Skip to second ending. And then there's a break. All right, whew, we did it. So let's go ahead and take a quick pause here, and then we'll move on to the outro. Okay, the outro to this song, super fun, also a little trickier. There's a little bit of a busier part. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to learn a slightly simplified version. And it goes great with the song, and you could totally play this along with the recording. And then we also will cover the original version too at the very end. So let's see. So looking at the outro, what I suggest is that we actually... So this whole song, we've been playing all of the notes kind of like with our hand all the way up the neck, right? So our first finger on the first fret, second finger on the second fret, third finger on the third fret, fourth finger on the fourth fret. For this beginning of the outro, I suggest we shift up 2 frets. So have your first finger on this B flat, the third fret of the G string. Right? So this is going to be the first note that we play, and we're going to play with our first finger. So that means that if we go up to our fourth finger, it's going to reach all the way up to the 6th fret. That's important because we have some notes that we want to play there, right? And this is just to make the fingering a little bit easier, and also to make sure that we can easily reach this high C too, right? So starting again with the first finger on the 3rd fret of the G string, of the first string. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and tap through this rhythm, right? So again, this is a simplified rhythm, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's repeat this a few more times. Cool. Funky rhythm. I love it. Great for jamming on. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the notes. Again, first finger on this B flat on the 3rd fret, and then we go straight across to the first finger on it's the same fret but on the string below. And then we have our 3rd finger on the 5th fret, and then back up to the B flat first finger on the 1st fret. So these notes are this is just practicing the notes. Okay. And then go into the 2nd bar, and we're gonna stay in the same place. This time we're playing the 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the top string, and then drop down to the 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, and then back to the 5th fret. So the notes for this whole 2nd bar are 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, 5th fret. Or if you want to talk about fingers, 3rd finger, 1st, 3rd, 4th, 3rd. And then if we put the 1st and 2nd bars together with the rhythm, it sounds like this. Let's repeat that. Just keep going this again and again. It's always good to, like, if there's a part of piece of music that's tough, just pick 1 or 2 bars or even 1 or 2 notes and repeat it until it becomes easier. Cool. So now we're gonna come to a little fun surprise where we actually shift down an octave. We play essentially the same music, but in the lowest register of the instrument, right? So we'll see this happen in bar 70, where the notes get way further down on the staff at the end of bar 70. So we're playing. We look at bar 70. We're playing 3rd finger on this high C, and then we shift back into this very first position, right? So we shift our fingers back to the 1st fret because we have to play this low F right here. 4th string, 1st fret. So it goes first finger, 3rd finger, up a string to the 1st finger. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong bar. 1st finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, back to the 3rd, and then we jump up 2 strings to play this E flat. So just from the low note. Sorry about that buzz. Just make sure you're hearing those same notes, right? So then in time, this bar is going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I recommend practicing just this bar because this shift from the 3rd fret to the 1st fret, where you're moving your whole hand, right, where we're kind of repositioning our whole hand, it could be a little bit tricky. Yeah, just feel free to practice that specifically. Okay, now we're going to go through and we're going to play the outro. Yeah, I'll play straight through it, including the shift into bar 71. And as I mentioned in the sort of listen through at the beginning, once you get to bar 71, it's just all kind of open jam, right? So you just kind of play this rhythm, and these notes, but you can play with it. You can put in extra stuff. You can put stuff in, you know, that's little fun variations, or you can just play it as written. So yeah, let's go ahead and start from the outro, right? So of course it's going to start with, we'll just count through those 4 bars, because just to remember that, you know, there's a space here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. And this is just ad lib. Just, you know, messing around, whatever. So go ahead and, yeah, let's take a quick pause here, and then let's look at what the original version of the outro sounds like, if you want to tackle that at some point. Okay, we're going to take a look at the original version of the outro. This should be the last page of your score. And yeah, it's another super fun part. It's very similar to what we were just practicing, but there's just a few more notes. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Let's actually just tap through the rhythm. I think the rhythm is the trickiest part here. So it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all 4 bars, the first 4 bars of the outro: 77, 78, 79, and 80. Hear that as one more time: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I don't think there's any new notes here. I think these are all the same notes that we were playing in the simplified version. We're repeating some of them, right? And we're putting some of them in different order. And so let's go ahead and try playing it through. I'll start a little bit slower. I'll play this through a little slower, and then we'll speed it up. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Let's try that again, a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now let's take a look at this last section. This is just the same notes, again, more or less, but just an octave down. So that kind of sounds like this. This whole original outro sounds like this. From the 4-bar rest: 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Just like before, we can ad-lib if we want to. at some point there's a big pause and ending when Indy Darling, cues it. I just gotta watch her for that. Cool. So we've covered everything. It's been a lot. Great work. Let's go ahead. The very last thing. I'm just gonna do a quick playthrough for you, so that if you want to practice playing through either the whole thing or different parts of it, you can kind of zoom in on them here. So let me take a quick pause, and then I'll do that. Okay. As promised, full playthrough of Vibrant. We're gonna jump into verse 1. I'm gonna give you four beats, and then we'll start in verse 1. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the bridge. Last chorus. First ending. Repeat the chorus. Skip to the second ending. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Hope you had fun playing that. It's been so much fun to learn this song. It's an amazing song, and yeah, get it down on paper and play through it with you. So thank you for introducing it, and thank you for working through it with me. Yeah, let's get together and play it or talk about it, or I'd love to hear how you experience learning and playing this song, and how you might experience listening to it differently after learning some of it. So yeah, awesome. Take care, and of course, happy birthday.